out of a softly lit, air-conditioned, could be anywhere, 4-star hotel, into the bright lights, kaleidoscopic colours, cacophony of sound, and stifling heat of Amritsar, India. That's when my wife and I began to realise what Evelyn Greenslade meant when she said, India is an assault on the senses. A riot of noise and colour. Now actually, Evelyn Greenslade doesn't actually exist. She's the character played by Judi Dench in the film The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. But I think everyone understands that description of India. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, very welcome guests. Tonight I'm going to give you a very small part of an extremely emotional journey that my wife and I took to India in November 2013. It can only be a small part because I haven't got time, but it was a very vivid, vibrant first few hours that we spent in India when we began to understand what Evelyn Greenslade was talking about. We travelled to India with a Rotary polio immunisation team, and we were going to be moving on to Delhi a few days later to be part of the national immunisation programme. And I hope that when I come to my C8, if I ever get there, I'll be able to show you with some visual aids what that part of the trip was like. But for now, we were in Amritsar, and we were very fortunate to have with us an experienced traveller, a Hereford Rotarian who'd been to India before, and he asked us if we wanted to go into downtown Amritsar, away from the sterile hotel into the not-so-sterile Amritsar. And we said, we were jet-lagged but wide-eyed, and we said, yes, that would be great. And he whisked us off in one of those tuk-tuks, those garishly coloured auto-rickshaws that sit for hours and hours outside of hotels waiting for their next customers. Now, tuk-tuks are not comfort, and clunk-click takes on a whole new meaning, nothing to do with health and safety whatsoever, more the noises that are coming from underneath you as the tuk-tuk goes down the roads. And as we went down those roads jammed together on that journey, we ended up with our first sensory overload. All the sounds, the discordant sounds of the traffic, the wafting aroma of the street vendors, and the incomprehensible sights that we started to see. And in addition to that sensory overload, we also had the emotions as well, of realising that what we were going to be seeing over the next 2.5 weeks was all going to be like this. So we had a certain amount of trepidation. So, having arrived in central Amritsar, he gave us the confidence to get out of our tuk-tuk and start walking in those teeming streets. And you can't say the first thing that you notice, because there are so many things that you notice all at the same time. But for me, it was the rich colours of the turbans. The men and the boys in Amritsar will wear different shades of turbans, and it left us immediately thinking, why the different colours? Was it to do with fashion? Was it to do with their age? And we were to find out later. And then on top of that, you have the street vendors who are cooking on the streets. You have the immaculately dressed school children going to school. You have the businessmen and businesswomen in their business suits being peddled in these pedicams by these wiry, muscular bicycle drivers. And then you have the cattle ambling down these roads, dicing with death, with all the motorcycles and the bicycles, as the pedestrians are always also trying to get there. And then you look up and you think, how did those electricity wires get so tangled? Your brain's trying to make complete sense of it all. But nothing can actually prepare you for what comes next. Because in central Amritsar, you have the Golden Temple. And the Golden Temple is really difficult to describe in words. So it's absolutely ideal for a C4 speech. It's golden, it's a temple, it's surrounded by a milky white buildings, and it's set on a shimmering moat. And the whole thing is covered around by a marble walkway. And as you're walking around this walkway, you hear the sounds of the priests singing their prayers. And it's just an awesome experience. But it's not just the Golden Temple, because adjacent there is this free kitchen that has been there for 450 years. And that kitchen is feeding anybody who wants to turn up. And it's free and it's run by volunteers. And you sit down and you have dal, chapatis, aloo gobi, and you sit there quietly and eat the meal, and then you take the stainless steel tray and it's then washed up for you. And the next wave of people come in. And we're talking up to 100,000 people a day. 450 years doing that. So, that was the end of our first day in Amritsar. We would return to the temple again to see the inside. But for us, we went back to our softly lit, air-conditioned, could have been anywhere, 4-star hotel, to discuss with everybody else what sights they'd seen and to compete. And by the end of it, we did understand what Evelyn Greenslade had meant when she said that our senses have been assaulted. So that's my stop.